I replied to your comment on Facebook yesterday that great advice from one of the best electricians that we know. So with that in mind, wanted to make sure that we followed up to our video from yesterday about GFCIs to have the people know what your tip is.
Absolutely. So my rule of thumb has always been if your GFCI trips more than twice in 1 month, typically it's going to be right, depending on the age of the GFCI, right? Typically, if it's between, we'll say, 8 to 12 years old, the GFCI could be getting weaker. Something still could have caused it to trip, or the GFI could have tripped on its own just because it is weak. However, if it's a newer GFI, we'll say between the ages of 3 to 7 years old, roughly, then it's probably doing its job, which it could be a couple different things. Something that is plugged into the GFI, meaning, let's say, for instance, if you have a small appliance like a blender, a toaster, if something is shortening out in that actual unit, that can cause the GFCI to trip, which at that point it's just doing its job. It's detecting a problem and trying to keep the thing internally protected. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Thank you for sharing that. So occasional tripping is okay to reset, but in the instances of what you're talking about, it's good to have a professional take a look.
Absolutely, and especially if it's tripping more frequently over time, that's typically a sign that it's probably getting weaker and weaker. But the random ones where it may be just maybe once, a month, twice a month, it's probably picking up on something. And if it's not a appliance issue, then there could be a connection problem with the internal wiring, because all of your kitchen outlets are going to be daisy chained together, right? Where if that GFI trips, it knocks out power to everything downstream to that. So typically you would want to try to, yeah, exactly. So typically you want to try to unplug everything first, reset your GFCI plug everything back in, because I've had it some occasions where there was a bad appliance and literally we took everything out, plugged everything back in. I got to the last appliance. As soon as I plugged it in, boom, it popped instantly. So we were able to actually point it out that this was the main culprit, right?
Wow.
So it's little like that you can do, especially with outside GFCIs where they're located in the garage and all of your outdoor outlets are tied into that one as well. Typically, if it trips, you want to go around, double check all the outlets, right? If you have something plugged, people can forget about a extension cord in the backyard on the side of the house. Yeah, I've seen it 100 times. And if there's been any moisture that makes contact with those connections, yeah, it's going to trip.
Okay, great tip. Thank you so much for sharing. I couldn't let your Facebook comment from yesterday go unseen and your advice go unseen. So you're our video of the day, and we do appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime.
All right, William, you have a great one, and I'll talk to you soon. Stay cool.
Thank you. You too.